9, science's light began to shine. At Padua city in a modest house, Galileo Galilei sets out to prove the sun is thin, the earth is on the move.
What is it?
That's an armillary sphere. It's a contraption used to show how the sun and all the stars go around the earth, according to our forefathers.
How?
Let's examine it. Let's start at the beginning. Description?
And in the middle there's a small stone.
That's the earth.
Round it there are rings, one inside another.
How many?
8.
The crystal spheres.
Stuck to the rings are little balls.
The stars.
Then there are bands with words painted on them.
What sort of words?
Name of stars.
Such as?
The lowest ball is the moon, it says. Above this is sun.
Now start the sun moving.
That's great, but we're so shut in.
Did you understand what I told you yesterday?
What about Copernicus and turning?
Yes.
No. What do you want me to understand that for? It's very difficult and not even 11 till October.
I particularly want you to understand it, Andrea. Getting people to understand is the reason why I go on buying expensive books instead of paying the milkman.
But I can see it with my own eyes, that the sun goes down in a different place where it rises. So how can it stay still? Of course it can.
You can see, indeed. What can you see? Nothing. You just go up. Groping isn't seeing. Right, sit down. Right, there's the sun. Now, where is it? Right or left of you?
Left.
And how does it get to being on your right?
But you can get to my right, of course.
Isn't there any other way? Now where's the sun?
Right.
Did it move?
Not really.
Then what did move?
Me.
Wrong! You idiot, the chair!
But with me!
Yes, the chair's the earth. You're sitting on it.
Just what are you doing with my boy, Mr. Galilei?
Teaching him to see, Mrs. Sarti.
What? By lugging him round the room?
Lay off, Mother, you don't understand.
Oh, don't I? And you do? Is that it? There is a young gentleman, very well dressed too. Wants some lessons, and he even has a letter of introduction. You soon make Andrea believe that 2 and 2 makes 5 any moment now, Mr. Galilei. As if he did not muddle everything you told him. Only last night he was arguing that the earth goes round the sun. He has put it into his head that a certain Copernicus has worked that one out.
Didn't Copernicus work that out, Mr. Galilei? You tell her.
Oh, don't tell him such stories. He'll trot out everything at school, and the priest will come to see me because he's constantly coming out with blasphemies. You should be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Galilei.
I have come in connection with your application for a rise in salary to 1,000 scudi. Unfortunately, I cannot recommend it to the university. Maths, as you know, does not attract new students. It may not be as essential as philosophy or so useful as theology, but it nonetheless offers infinite pleasure to its adepts.
My dear fellow, I can't manage on 500 scudi.
But, Mr. Galilei, your week consists of 2-hour lectures. Given your outstanding reputation, you can certainly afford to have private pupils that can afford private lessons. Haven't you got private pupils?
Too many, sir. I teach and I teach. And when am I supposed to learn? God help us, I'm not half as bright as those gentlemen in the philosophy department. I'm stupid. I understand absolutely nothing. And so, I'm compelled to fill the gaps in my knowledge by reading my books. Sir, when am I to get on with my researches? My branch of science is still avid to know.
Don't forget that some scholars pay less well than others. In Padua, we even admit Protestants to our lectures and give them doctor's degrees too. In Mr. Cremonini's case, we not only failed to hand him over into the Inquisition when he was proved, Mr. Galilei, to have made irreligious remarks, but actually granted him a rise in salary. That should mean something to you. As far as Venice, Padua is where the Inquisition has no say. That should mean something to you, working in a field where for some time now The doctrines of the Church have hardly been treated with proper respect.
You people handed Mr. Giordano Bruno over to the Inquisition because he was propagating the ideas of Copernicus. Your Excellency, August Signoria, today it is with deep pleasure and all due deference that I find myself able to demonstrate and hand over to you a completely new instrument, namely my spyglass or telescope, fabricated in your world-famous great arsenal, on the loftiest Christian and scientific principles, the fruit of 17 years of patient research by your humble servant. Waste of time.
You'll be able to pay the butcher, old boy.
Yes. They'll make money off of this.
Your Excellency, August Signoria, once again a glorious page in the Book of Arts is inscribed in a Venetian hand. Today, a world-famous scholar is offering to you, and you alone, a highly marketable tube for you to sell and manufacture as and how you wish. What is more, has it occurred to you that in wartime, this instrument will allow us to distinguish the number and type of the enemy ship at least 2 hours before he does ours, so we will know whether to join battle, pursue, or run away. And now, Your Excellency, August Signoria, Mr. Galileo invites you to accept the testimonial of this instrument at the hand of his enchanting daughter.
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to stick the circus for. These people think they're getting a lucrative plaything, but it's much more than that. Last night, I turned it on the moon.
And what did you see?
The moon doesn't generate its own light.
What?
I can make out the fortification of Santa Rosita, Mr. Galileo. They're having their dinner on that boat. Fried fish makes me feel peckish.
I'm telling you, astronomy has stagnated for the past 1,000 years because they didn't have a telescope.
That contraption lets you see too much. Now I have to tell my women they can't take baths on the roof any longer.
No, the Milky Way consists of.
No.
I do.
January 10, 1610. Galileo Galilei abolishes heaven.
Have you completely lost your head? Don't you know what you're getting into? What you see there is true. And if you go around telling all and sundry that the Earth is a planet and not the center of the universe.
Right, and that the entire universe, full of stars, is encircling around our tiny little Earth. Anyone could guess.
So for you, that's just a lot of stars. Then where's God?
What do you mean?
God! Where's God?
Not out there anyway. Any more than he'd be down here on Earth. Suppose there was creatures out there wanting to come here and look for him.
So, where is God?
I'm not a theologian. I'm a mathematician.
First of all, you are a human being. And I'm asking, where is God in your cosmography?
Within ourselves or nowhere?
Like the man they burned said!
Like the man they burned said!
That's what they burned him for less than 10 years back!
Because he couldn't prove anything. Because it was just a hypothesis.
Don't go to Florence, Galileo!
Why not?
Because it's run by monks!
The Florentine court includes eminent scholars.
Flunkies!
I'll drag them by the scruff of the neck if I have to. Even monks are human beings, Sagredo. Even they are subject to the seduction of proof. Copernicus, don't forget, wanted them to believe his figures, whereas I just want them to believe their own eyes.
Galileo, I see you embarking on a frightful road. It is a disastrous night when mankind sees the truth, and a delusive hour when it believes in human reason. What kind of man is said to go to things with his eyes open? One who's going to his doom? What kind of power gives the people free rein to somebody who knows the truth, even if it concerns the remotest stars? Do you imagine the Pope? You'll tell him he's wrong, and not just here he's wrong. Do you imagine what he merely noted in his diary? January 10, 1610, get rid of heaven. Just now when I was watching you at the telescopes, it seems to me you were standing on blazing faggots. And when you said you believed in proof, I smelled burnt flesh. I am fond of science, my friend, but I am fonder of you. Don't go to Florence, Galileo.
If they have me, Then I shall go.